to the hunter to go back to the surface to recover. The gun will remain as a reference to locate the exact point to which to return later. In this case, Pippin makes a descent directly to that point, a little bit faster, increasing this way his bottom time to retrieve the animal from the cave. Something to take into consideration is the possibility of getting hurt by the coral. Notice how Pippin, not having a wetsuit, evaluates his position on the bottom. On occasions, the injured fish would turn itself inside to open its pectoral and dorsal fins as a way to anchor itself against the walls of the cave, making very difficult the exit. That is happening here, as you can see. Pippin is pulling the fish, holding it by the caudal fin. He proceeds to move the animal in and out and pivoting it over its center to release it from the anchor the animal put itself into. Once captured, Pippin proceeds to ascend with a good-sized prey. On the surface, he will now complete the kill by making a puncture through the brain. There are three primary reasons for this. First, to eliminate the possibility of the prey to escape by making a quick snap of the caudal fin. Second, to stop the suffering of the animal. And third, to minimize the possibility of attracting the eternal rivals of all underwater hunters, sharks and barracudas. In this sequence, we observe another smooth descent, which is trying to disguise the hunter as another marine creature, possibly old, injured, or even dying. Notice how Pippin's movements are slow, without a rush or drastic turns. This strategy would make him look like another creature that is not looking for food. Turtles normally swim in mid-water characteristically by a lateral fin movement. In this case, Pippin is emulating such movement just like a turtle. This lateral kick can be combined with the normal kick to reduce the distance between the hunter and the prey. The gun must be maintained hidden with the body. The finger won't be put in the trigger until the last moment. Just before shooting, you will pull the gun out, hold the gun by the handle, and put the finger on the trigger ready to shoot. Here we observe how the fish not only stops swimming away, but even turns back toward the hunter. If you observe carefully, you probably notice that Pippin suddenly stopped his movements, awakening this way the curiosity of the animal. Fish in general are quite curious as long as they don't feel threatened. In this case, the natural curiosity of the fish was used. Being a small prey, Pippin starts to ascend with it and later will let it go, allowing his assistant to pull it from the surface. In this other shot, we see Pippin getting ready to descend once again. With another smooth descent, minimizing oxygen and energy consumption, he goes to the bottom. He had performed an evaluation of the area first, noticing that this particular topography presents the ideal conditions to find fish. The borderline between the edge of a coral reef and a sandy bottom. This type of topography attracts many potential preys for the hunter. Knowing this, Pippin descends straight to the edge of the reef, which contains many ledges and caves. Once there, he closes his eyes for a few seconds to get his pupils dilated and be able to see inside. He observes the fish just as he signals the camera, which is held by an Italian tourist friend of Pippin's. He decides to return to the surface before attempting to shoot. Just as we mentioned before, the fish won't go anywhere now that it feels secure. This time, and after an extended ventilation on the surface, he goes down, directly to the same spot in which he had observed the fish. The experienced hunter always takes a reference in the bottom to return to the same spot. If you observe here, there are some marks that are unique to this location. This strategy allows for a minimum energy consumption when trying to locate a spot, maybe due to distraction during the previous descent. With the creature already located, Pippin shoots only this time due to the closeness of the cave wall. The tip of the shaft broke, letting the fish get away. The barb of the shaft is no longer there to hold the fish. Pippin, before ascending, observes where the fish went. The animal got inside a nearby hole. Since it can be used in another shaft, Pippin recovers the tip. With the gun loaded, with a new shaft, and after resting for a little while, he decides to return back to the bottom. Having the reference, he returned exactly to the same spot. He takes his time to descend, knowing that the creature is hurt. He is confident that it will be easy to take. But to his surprise, he sees another fish swimming carelessly, only a few feet away from where the previous action took place. Leaving the injured fish for later, he turns to the new prey with a precise shot. He catches this new fish, a big grouper. The other fish would be dealt with later, as in effect Pippin would have done. This time Pippin had luck on his side. That day he obtained 2 fish in the same spot. Due to multiple reasons we have mentioned before, the spear fisherman should usually go with the current. To determine the direction of the current, it's necessary to observe in which direction the soft corals on the bottom are leaning, like for example sea fans and sponges. As for any rule, there's an exception. We will observe Pippin descending in direction of the current, the correct way. He observes the area around like looking for something else, when suddenly he turns around, changing direction. The reason? A grouper that was right behind him. It was trying to escape after noticing Pippin's intentions. But it was too late. Another precise shot penetrates the animal, but would not surrender without giving fight, the fight for survival, which is now looking for the safety of a nearby cave. This brief fight with the animal forced Pippin to ascend looking for air. With a hydrodynamic position, extending his arms upward and an efficient kick, he returns back to the surface. The gun will remain one more time as a reference for a later recovery. As an additional reference, the silt was stirred up. Due to the turbidity of the water, the images of Pippin retrieving the grouper have been edited. But here, Pippin observes that the animal was almost out of the shaft, making him secure it before ascending. Every fisherman has come to a point in which the fish has escaped, but let's not forget that Pippin was doing this for a living, meaning that a fish escaped was equal to a lot less money in his pocket. the end, a happy day, going home with enough pieces to put food on the top of his table, with a loyal company and watchful eyes of his assistants.